The James Show Podcast.
This clip I'm about to play you is coming from a young lady who is going to be a guest on The James Show this afternoon. I'm doing a live broadcast from the Omni Fort Worth Hotel, and she's agreed to come out there, and we'll talk to her in person. So if you like what you hear here, there's going to be more of her, I think, 2:30 this afternoon. But this was a video that's been going viral. I have some stuff to add to it, but I'm going to replay it if you've already heard it in the last couple of days for the people who haven't heard it before. Kaylee Campbell talking about H1-B visa fraud here in North Texas.
Remember this map that shows a significantly larger amount of H1-B visas here in Texas than anywhere else in the country? Well, this is Chand Paravanthanini. He's an immigration lawyer here in Dallas, Texas, and as of 2024 has approved over 400,000 H1-B visa applicants, and as of 2025 has approved over 700,000 H1-B applicants in Texas. Now you're probably asking yourself, where do these people work? Do they work at places like this? Cute little 4-bedroom, 3-bath houses that are registered to 66 H1-B applicants? They apparently run a tech company out of this house. This isn't just happening in Irving. It's happening in Irving, Plano, Las Colinas, Frisco, McKinney, Prosper, and more. Because North Texas has been completely overrun and overtaken by both Muslims and Indians. I passed my first mosque the other day. That was interesting. And you'll be glad to know that there's over 67 of them in the North Texas area. You gotta ask yourself, how many fraudulent businesses are you walking past? Because they receive government funding. And do you want to know where that government funding comes from? Your tax dollars. Every time you go to work, money gets taken out of your paycheck, it goes to them. All
right, now I have to play this next sound clip because she corrects a factual error from that previous video. Only one thing she said there was incorrect. She corrects the record, then added a little bit more to it.
In my video that's currently going viral right now, I had mentioned that there were over 700,000 H1-B visa applicants that were accepted by an attorney named Chand Paravanthanini, who is an immigration lawyer here in Texas. And I want to correct something about that video and share more information with you. First off, that number 700,000 is how many H1-B visa applicants have been accepted in the United States in 2024 and 2025. With that being said, we've discovered more information about him specifically and the work that he's done within the DFW area and his process on approving H1-B visa applicants in Texas specifically. So Chand Paravanthanini alone has a 99% approval rate, which is highly suspicious for over 22,879 H1-B visa applicants in the North Texas area. And while yes, this number is significantly lower than originally suspected, it still has really damaging effects on cities in the North Texas area. One of the biggest issues within this investigation is the fact that the wages that these companies are offering are correlating with way too many businesses, and the statistical improbability of it is very high. For example, 237 companies are offering a wage of $101,192. 210 companies are offering a wage of $98,904. 204 companies are offering a wage of $105,997, and 186 of these companies are offering a wage of $94,037. And if you thought that was bad, there are 9 specific companies registered to this address that are offering a wage of $94,037. And we're going to go check out that place tomorrow and see if they actually have business there. With all of that being said, the 22,789 approved H1-B visa applicants done by Chand Paravanthanini, out of all of those, 3,391 of those addresses that are registered with these businesses are fake. And I promise you, we're going to find every single one of them.
All right, so in that part where she said, we'll go visit this house tomorrow and we'll see if there's 66 businesses registered there or whatever the crazy number was, this is her actually going to visit the house. She's doing her own little Nick Shirley thing, and it's right here in your own backyard, and you drive past this stuff every day, and you've been suspicious of it, and you were right.
See how cute this house is in Frisco, Texas? It'd be perfect for a family. A suburban dream. There's actually 5 different businesses registered to this one house, ranging from a nonprofit to for-profits to a tech company. And you'll also be glad to know that there's over 50 people who've already been approved through the H1-B visa system to work for this company. And with salaries of over $100,000 a year through this company that's registered through this suburban house in Frisco, Texas, you'll wonder why you're working your regular 9-to-5 job. Unfortunately, this is already the second suburban house we've found that is registered to a bunch of different companies. Where are they getting their money? Where are they running their companies? Guess we'll just have to find out.
So you see what's going on here. This is even worse than illegal immigration because this is immigrants who shouldn't be coming here, who have found a loophole in the system to get here legally in numbers that shouldn't be allowed. You know, we're only supposed to allow, I think it's 65,000 to 80,000 H-1B visas in the entire country in a year, and somehow we're letting in hundreds of thousands. something's falling through the cracks. There's no oversight here. And so what happens is someone comes here and they want to bring their family, their friends, as many people as they want from the old country. And immigration says, no, they have to come here legally. That'll take 6 years, 12 years, whatever it is. And so he says, well, what if I start a company here and I need to hire an employee and I can't find an American, so I'll use the H1-B visa. So, oh, you have a company? Yeah, it's right here. See, it says on paper. This is our address. We have 15 employees. They all make $104,026 a year. And you find out that if there's 210 companies that are paying the exact same salary scale across their employees, that's a copy and paste job. That's what they're doing. They're just coming up with the new paperwork for new companies on paper. They're just giving the same address to one house, and they're bringing over dozens of people, probably hundreds, if not thousands. And she was pointing out that if you added up all the H-1B visas, 700,000 people have been brought here through that process. And a big chunk of them, it looks like it's fraud. There is no business. There is no job. There is no salary. It's just an excuse to get them here. And then they're here, and they're here legally. So if they get pulled over, they're not going to get deported. Look, I have an H-1B visa. So this is in an even more insidious loophole for illegal immigration, for immigrants that are not supposed to be here, than walking across the border and just ducking. So we have another blogger who's doing her own little Nick Shirley work. Her name's Priya Patel. I make no judgments, whatever. But she adds to the work that you just heard from Kaylee Campbell, and you'll hear that coming up next. Real journalism and reporting is being done just by independent people out there with the same access to information that all the big networks have, and we're showing these people that just run circles around them. Why is it that people have been asking, where are all these hundreds of thousands of immigrants being concentrated in these communities? How is this happening? What is going on? What is causing this? This isn't an accident. Something is going askew here. And since nobody else looked, the people finally looked. Not the networks, not the TV stations, not the newspapers, not Fox News or CNN, none of those. Just regular people out there uncovering all kinds of stuff. You'll meet one of them this afternoon. Kaylee Campbell, I was playing her in the last segment. She's going to be on the James Show in our live remote broadcast from the Omni Fort Worth Hotel. Here's another young lady who is building on the work based on Kaylee Campbell's video. Now, I don't even know who all these people are because this started with the map, and then Kaylee built on the map, and Priya Patel built on Kaylee's work.
We seriously need to eliminate the H-1B visa program altogether. So this is a map of H-1B employers throughout the United States, and it seems as though they have literally conquered the entire state of Texas.
Yep.
Why is this happening? Well, you have multiple immigration lawyers, each approving tens of thousands of H-1B applications. Take Chand Parvathani, for example, who himself has processed over 20,000 H-1B applications. And where are these people working? Well, they're running tech companies, trucking companies, body shops out of residential properties, single-family homes, all registered to dozens of H-1B holders. And guess what? Each of these companies are receiving government funding too. Yes, yet another group of foreigners that come here with the intent of stealing your taxpayer dollars and running a fraud scheme in their backyard. And if all that wasn't enough, the government helps them buy up our homes too. Yes, there are programs that help H-1B holders get mortgages with little to no lines of credit here in the U.S.
Great.
They were even receiving lower interest rates and government-backed FHA loans until just May of last year. When hardworking American citizens are struggling to buy homes due to the cost of living, sky-high interest rates, and inflation, foreigners here on temporary visas should not be allowed to purchase homes here in the U.S., let alone receive extra handouts to do so. And furthermore, we shouldn't continue a visa program that has largely been used to defraud our government, steal our tax dollars, steal our jobs, steal our homes, and increase the cost of practically everything for the rest of us.
All right, that's amazing reporting right there. Did you know any of that? Did you know it was that bad? Did you know that these people were coming in on H-1B visas and getting FHA loans? How many people were bid out of a house that they wanted in Frisco because someone was able to go over them with an H-1B visa FHA loan? You know, FHA loan, you only have to put down 3.5%. The government covers the rest. Yeah, and who's that good for? Well, the mortgage companies, Wall Street. The people who buy the secondary mortgages, the mortgage-backed securities, the big debt instruments, that all ends up on Wall Street. So it's just another excuse. Hey, we bring some foreigners here. It's an excuse to throw some money around. A lot of that ends up back in our pockets. A lot of it ends up back in the pockets of our donors and our supporters. We get a nice, steady voting base on top of it, complete with political donations from the now legal immigrants themselves. Everybody on Team Blue wins. You lose. Taxpayer, chump. We're all chumps if we let this keep going. Now that you know to allow this to keep going, you're being a chump. Bob in Munster, you're on WBAP.
Good morning. This is kind of up the line I was thinking. I read an article the other day about these aliens that come in and they get small business grants, not a loan, a grant. Most of them start with a gas station and a convenience store. They get $4 million plus in grants.
Tell me about that. How does that work?
Well, it's called an a J7 loan, I believe, but it's through the federal government. But apparently they get a grant and they can buy a business that nobody else can afford. I had a friend that couldn't afford a certain piece of property because he said there's no way to pay for itself. These foreigners moved in, they bought the place, and they turned it into a gas station convenience store.
Yeah, so I've noticed this happened around the corner in Bug Tussle, and it's noticeable because when I was growing up in Bug Tussle, that was one of the things I didn't like about living in a rural area is that you don't get to see foreigners. You know, like they think they just assume, well, you're from the country, you're in flyover country, you must be really xenophobic. Are you kidding? You know how exciting it is to see a foreigner if you never get to see one? You're like, oh my God, where are you from? This is amazing. Tell me about what life is like in your part of the world. I've never been there. I've barely been out of Texas. And so you get excited to see them. So you notice. But at the corner store around the corner from my house, the closest corner store, Indians are there. And I mean, it doesn't bother me. In fact, I'm friends with them now. There's Muhammad, there's Sardik. They've even taught me a little Hindu. Shukriya, Abkadina Chaho. I talk with them. But we didn't have that before. And now you can just see them roping in more people. Well, we have this gas station. We need workers. So they file for an H1-B visa to get people to work at a gas station. That doesn't seem right. How does H1Bs work for a gas station? Are they lying and saying they have a tech job in this house? And so they're bringing them in for some other purpose and they just end up working at a gas station because the job doesn't exist. Something funky is going on here. And thank you for telling me about these loans. And I'll look into that, Bob.
That's a correction. It's not a loan. It's
the grant. Thank you. Hey, all the corrections are warranted here. We're trying to get to the bottom of this, and no one else is going to do it for us. They will take money from you. They will throw it around. They will let the system get absolutely raped by foreigners, and then just overlook it. No big deal. You don't need to know this. Meanwhile, the news will tell you about every person that's accidentally killed with a firearm. They'll tell you about any time there's something that makes white people or men or Christians look bad or capitalism look bad. The narrative is sick if it ignores stuff like this. Look, you can have your preferences when it comes to the issues, whether it's gay marriage or abortion or, capitalism versus socialism. But to ignore fraud like this, to ignore the taxpayers, because this affects Team Red and Team Blue. Everyone who pays taxes, you're getting absolutely destroyed and abused by these systems. And there seems to be a lot of them. It starts with your regular welfare benefits, then the daycares, then the home health care, then the transportation businesses. Then there's all kinds of frauds. Dave was telling you about interpreter fraud. In fact, I'll play that in the next segment. In the new Nick Shirley video, there's just more and more fraud. And if you have been suspicious about the amazing concentration that suddenly popped up in the last 20 years here in North Texas of concentrated groups of foreigners, just unexplained, here's your explanation. It's all crooked. First, we stop it. Second, we undo it. And how do you undo that? It's going to be ugly. People are going to call you ugly names. But we have to send a lot of these people back. Not all of them, but probably most of them. But listen, you're going to get called ugly names. Are you ready for that? Because you have to be bigger than that. This status quo is worse than being called ugly names. So there's a new Nick Shirley video. I played one clip of it yesterday. I'll start with that, and then I'll play the intro. I know I'm doing this backwards, but it works out better for my narrative here. David, the Nick Shirley's partner, the guy that went with him to the Leering Center and exposed all the daycares and home health care frauds and whatnot. They've moved on and showing you more frauds, and a lot of this is centered around transportation and health care.
So here in Minnesota, you have daycare fraud, you have adult daycare fraud, you have healthcare fraud, and you even have more fraud. What's some of the fraud that's also taking place here inside of Minnesota?
Well, what I think might be sort of the heart of the beast here is this transportation fraud. And what I mean by that is in Minnesota, we have something called non-emergency medical transportation, NEMT. My research has shown that there are about 1,020 such companies in Minnesota, and more than 90% of them are Somali-owned.
What are the odds? But I just want I want to play the first, it's about a minute here, in the intro to Nick Shirley's video. And this is the one, I say new, this came out 2 days ago. And in this one, you're going to kind of hear a montage of things going on. But just listen to this. And if this isn't seen as newsworthy by any journalistic outlet in America, your credibility means nothing anymore. You need to hear this, though.
I'm asking
No. You don't ask me nothing.
$2.25 million.
Get out. Are we the only community that does fraud?
How come they said this building was closed? Do you guys know where Advanced Mobility is?
Advanced Mobility?
Yeah, we're looking for it. Never heard of it?
They know we're shining the light on the fraud, and they have no defense.
Would you like to see anybody in the government here held accountable?
Most definitely, because there can definitely be an allocation of funds.
The Minnesota fraud scandal continues to get worse and worse as billions of dollars of fraud has been exposed, and as I showed the world the blatant fraud taking place at daycares and other locations across Minnesota, it became the most viewed video expose on the internet and created instant change within the government as the Fed sent thousands of federal agents to Minnesota, and the HHS froze over $185 million in all payments to childcare. And while politicians like Tim Walz call people like me white supremacist and far-right delusional conspiracy theorists for exposing the fraud, meanwhile, he actually dropped out of running for re-election. The Minnesota fraud scandal has erupted the nation as protests and riots took place, all starting because daycares like Quality Leering Center were exposed. However, the daycares is only a small portion of the fraud taking place in Minnesota. In this video, I will take you into what has continued to allow this fraud to happen and connect all of the dots for you, exposing all of the fraud from strange connections of the business owners and the politicians who have openly admitted to the fraud on live TV. And to dive deep into the fraud, I met back up with the local David, who has been investigating this widespread fraud scandal for years.
You know, it's almost like the Founding Fathers knew what the heck they were talking about when they wrote the Constitution. They're not like a bunch of hacks who just forgot to write in stuff like, oh, well, they should have included education. Well, they should have included home health care. They should have included the government has purview over daycares and transportation and all these things. The government's not supposed to be in any of this stuff. And after seeing this, I don't understand how everybody's not a libertarian. I get a lot of grief for not being a Democrat or a Republican from both my Democrat and Republican friends. I think you're all crazy. How on earth does everybody not want to shut down every single one of these programs? How ridiculous is it that the government should be involved in paying for anyone's daycare to begin with, and then to see it just be absolutely raped by fraudsters, and still you don't see things my way? Do you love being robbed? You love being abused? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit your fist with my face. Please excuse me. Aaron in Cedar Creek, you're on WBAP. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, I'll have to make this real quick. I've only got a few minutes left before my lunch break is over. I'm not lucky enough to own a Leering Center and get free money.
All right, that's great.
But what I'm calling you about is I've been listening to you the last several days while I'm sitting in my truck eating my early lunch. And today I just decided to type in H1-B visas Texas in Facebook and search that. And you would be astonished at the groups and forums that come up.
Tell me more.
There's some that look legitimate. There's some that don't. There's one here called OPT CPT jobs in Texas. Now, this may be totally legit, but one says we have 200,000 resumes in Monster expiring in 2 months. Anyone interested in buying in bulk, ping me. And a lot of, let me read another example here. We provide all technology, proxy, and interview support at low prices. Please ping me at my WhatsApp number. It seems like there's a cottage industry here, even if this particular Facebook page is for legitimate people that are legitimately trying to use the H-1B visa system. It seems like there's a cottage industry of people trying to set them up, and it looks really shady. I haven't had but just a few minutes to look into this while I've been on my lunch break, but if you have any time, type in H-1B visas Texas into the Facebook search engine and look at what pops up. It'll amaze you.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that, because I've been amazed over and over by this setup already. I was, for a lot of people, we were slapped in the face by this map that got passed around, and it's only been about a week. I mean, the new interest in this story, a lot of it popped up with this map that showed where the H-1Bs are being issued, and Texas is absolutely blanketed. And there's a lot of states that have zero: South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, looks like even Alabama. There's a lot of, Arizona has zero H-1B visas, and we have 700,000. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. Something is up, and you're right to be suspicious when you go to a Home Depot in Frisco, and it looks like a Home Depot in Mumbai. There's nothing racist. It might make you feel uncomfortable because we've been conditioned that pointing out the race of any racial aspect of any situation is supposedly taboo. But screw that. I'm not giving up my country. I'm not giving up my state. And when something's going on here and the taxpayers are being raked over the coals, whether I'm a taxpayer or not, I'm calling something evil. This is wrong. This is not good for the country, good for the state, not good for us, not good for you, Aaron, in Cedar Creek Lake, not good for the guy listening to us right now. So here's what I'm doing. Aaron, you gave me some homework. I'm going to give you some homework. This is the map, H-1B visa map. I'm putting it up on the WBAP Facebook right now. You want to go see it? Go ahead. I am posting it now. So now you have some homework too. You heard Aaron in Cedar Creek. He wants you to look some stuff up. I just put the map that went viral and got everyone on this train. And this was only, like I say, a week ago. It's now on the WBAP Facebook page. So if you want to go see it yourself, pass it around. It's been really effective in getting people's attention. Let's keep it going while it's still hot. So The View, I enjoy this so much. Donald Trump flips off some reporter who calls him like a pedophile protector. And I think he dropped some F-bombs. I can't really hear from the audio. And I don't even think they have to bleep anything out. And they kind of show him do it, and it's from a distance, and it's a whatever. I mean, flipping the bird, who really cares? But everything Donald Trump does, it has to be like the worst thing ever. It's like, oh my God, can you believe someone would be so vulgar and unpresidential? Can you believe he flipped off an American citizen who was just asking to shut up? Here they are. This was yesterday's View, just hyperventilating. Joy Behar and Sonny Hostin.
So I saw this tape, or whatever it was, of Trump talking to the Washington Post. And this United Auto Workers line worker said to him, yelled out, called him a pedo protector. Do we have the video? The video? There it is. And Trump flipped him the bird a couple of times and used the F word on him. That is not what I call presidential. In my lifetime, and that goes back to Jefferson, I have never heard a president use the F word or flip the bird on an American a person.
Can you imagine if President Obama did that? He got flack for wearing a beige suit, for wearing a tan suit. Can you imagine if President Obama did that? Yeah. This is the least presidential person to hold office in our lifetime.
So obnoxious.
Yeah, we've never seen anything like it. It's so terrible. He made a hand gesture at someone. I know it didn't cause any bodily harm or pop anyone's eardrums or even offend the delicate sensibilities of anyone's ears, but it's so terrible. Can you imagine? Dude, Barack Obama drone bombed and killed an American citizen with a missile. Like, what if Obama had flipped someone off? I wish he'd only flipped off that guy. Yeah, can you believe Donald Trump treats American citizens so poorly? Barack Obama killed one. Extrajudicial killing. No warrant, no due process. What about the Fourth Amendment? Where all you people when that happened? Now it's like, hey, whatever. He's president. That's within his purview. He's commander-in-chief of the military. Oh, so you can just murder citizens? No due process, no cause, no warrant, no crime even. But no, look out. Look out, guys. Donald Trump flipped somebody off. And spare me the selective outrage of vulgarities. Because this is Robert De Niro coming out to announce some award at the Tony Awards in 2018 and listen to everyone's reaction to vulgarity then.
I'm going to say one thing. Trump.
Yay! Vulgarity's great. F Trump, that's hilarious. You hear how long this is going on?
No longer down with Trump, it's Trump.
Yeah, and then they go on for like another 30 seconds. It was the most celebrated thing in the world to say F to Trump. But if Trump says F back to you, oh my God, this is so beyond the pale. Can you believe we're being so mistreated? Shut up. These people are hilarious. God, I love it. Dean in Fort Worth. Hey, Dean, you're on WBAP.
Hey, they're talking about Trump being, unpresidential. Has anybody thought about what Clinton did, getting a blowjob in the Oval Office?
Yeah, I know technically we can say that under FCC guidelines, but let's keep it to a minimum because some people have kids in the car.
Oral pleasure then.
Well, we don't have to repeat it. We all got it the first time around. No, the selective outrage, it's all over the place. There's many examples you could pick out. I think even more egregious than that because, cheating on your wife with some 22-year-old highly impressionable intern under the desk on Easter Sunday. That's pretty immoral and unethical. Still dwarfed by Barack Obama droning an American citizen. Just hitting him with the missile strike. What's that guy's name? Awalaki or something? John, also in Fort Worth. You're on WBAP.
Wasn't it LBJ that said, I'll have those N-words voting for me for the rest of their lives?
Kind of. Listen, there's not any recordings of that, but there's quotes of him over and over and over of him using the N-word. Like when he was in the Senate in the 50s, he said, we're going to pass this N-word bill just to shut him up. And so, that's different, though. There was some magical switch. Look, you're bringing up such a good point here, John, because I don't understand how they can pretend to not know things about the Democrat Party that everybody knows. That was the party of the Klan. That was the party that was lynching blacks. That was the party of segregation and Jim Crow and pretty much every other human rights atrocity in American history. I'm talking about Trail of Tears. I'm talking about internment camps in World War II. I'm talking about showing Birth of a Nation in the White House, resegregating the White House after it had already been desegregated, putting a Klansman on the Supreme Court in the 30s, and they can still, with a straight face, call themselves Democrats. I don't get it. I do not get that at all, John.
The James Show Podcast.